Do you find that your moods fluctuate wildly, often changing for reasons you can't quite grasp? Do you struggle with insecurity, feeling easily hurt, or taking criticism too personally? Perhaps you know someone who often retreats, internalizes their stress, and then lashes out unexpectedly when their emotional reserve runs dry. Maybe you experience intense anxiety, worrying excessively, or finding that small emotional triggers lead to overwhelming reactions. If this speaks to your experience, then your Vedic chart may indicate an afflicted moon. And understanding it is the first step towards lasting peace. Welcome back to our series. It's called Healing the Inner Fire. In the last video, we explored the sudden, explosive anger of Mars. Today, we will turn our attention to an entirely different, yet equally challenging, source of emotional difficulty, which is the moon, your mind. We're talking about the anger that's rooted in emotional insecurity, deep instability, and a highly reactive mind. Let's talk about the planetary culprit that is going to be part of this particular video, which is the moon. It's a ruler of the mind. In Vedic astrology, the moon is the most crucial planet for your emotional well-being. It governs your mind, your emotions, your comfort, your mental stability, your peace, your maternal connections. It reflects the ebb and flow of your inner world. When the moon is strong and unafflicted, it grants serenity, empathy, and emotional resilience. However, when the moon is afflicted, often by malefics like Saturn, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, it leads to emotional volatility, restlessness, and deep insecurity. The anger here isn't necessarily a fire, it's a turbulent sea. It manifests as moodiness, crying, hypersensitivity, passive-aggressive behavior, and anxiety that eventually boils over into irritable frustration or rage. So let's talk about now what are some of the key placements that cause this emotional turmoil. Let's talk about moon afflicted in the first house. Say moon is sitting in an incorrect sign in the first house, or moon even just sitting in the first house. This impacts the core personality. The native's emotions are constantly on display and highly reactive. They absorb the feelings of others easily, like a sponge, and their moods dictate their entire identity, leading to unpredictable emotional outbursts. Let's talk about moon in the fourth house. The fourth house rules your inner peace, your home, and your comfort. Stress here means the native struggles to find emotional security and internal calm. Their reactivity is often linked to unmet emotional needs, leading to defensive and moody behavior when threatened. Let's talk about moon in the eighth house. This house relates to what? Sudden transformation and psychological depth. Moon here can indicate deep subconscious emotional wounds. The anger is often repressed and internalized, leading to sudden, irrational outbursts that stem from old traumas or fear. Let's talk about the 12th house, moon in the 12th house. 12th house rules isolation and the subconscious. This placement can cause loneliness, deep-seated emotional anxiety, and a tendency to just withdraw. Anger manifests as a flood of tears or passive-aggressive sabotage. Now let's consider the crucial afflictions that destabilize the moon. So moon and Saturn, either conjunction or aspect or opposition. This creates chronic sadness, depression, and suppressed emotional pain. The anger is often cold, Saturn's nature, critical, and rooted in deep pessimism and accumulated frustration. Let's talk about Moon-Rahu. It's a Grahan Yoga. This leads to a restless, anxious mind and erratic mood swings. The anger is often irrational, fueled by illusions or obsessive anxieties. It can be dramatic. Let's talk about Moon-Ketu conjunction. This is a tough one. This causes emotional detachment or numbness. The person struggles to connect with their feelings. It leads to sudden sharp bursts of unpredictable anger because they're unaware of their rising frustration. Let's talk about how and when it manifests. With this type of lunar moon, instability is amplified when the moon itself or its afflicting planets, they're in control, when they're running the dasha. During the moon Mahadasha, it's generally a 10-year long period, or even an Antardasha, which is a sub-period. During that time of the afflicted moon, or the challenging planet like Saturn or Rahu if they're connecting with the moon, the native's emotional life becomes the primary focus. This is when anxiety, mood swings, and hypersensitivity are at their peak. Also transits. Some of the challenging transits of Saturn, Rahu, Ketu over your natal moon, such as the Sade Sati, Saturn's transit over your moon. They're notorious for creating immense mental pressure, isolation, and emotional turbulence, where anger and frustration become a daily struggle. Now let's talk about some of the solutions to heal this. So to heal an afflicted moon, we must focus on stabilizing the mind and cultivating inner peace and contentment. The solutions mostly center around calming the water element that's within, mindfulness and meditation. Daily meditation is non-negotiable for an afflicted moon. This teaches you to observe the flow of emotions without becoming the emotion. Water therapy is the next one. Let's spend time near still water. Drink plenty of water and take cool, calming baths to soothe the mind and release emotional stress. You can chant the moon mantra, which is Om Som Somaya Namaha. You can chant that. You can do 108 times daily. Mahamrityunjaya mantra, if that resonates with you. It's a potent remedy for emotional illness and provides deep mental protection. You can connect with the maternal energy, offer service to elderly women or mothers in need. Moon represents the mother, and strengthening this connection brings emotional support. You should also make changes to the diets. You should increase the intake of calming, sattvic foods. You can do intake milk, rice, cucumbers. You should reduce stimulants like caffeine and sugar. They exacerbate anxiety and mood swings. So ultimately, the emotional sensitivity and turbulence caused by a challenging moon placement in your soul's contract is to learn unconditional self-love and stability. The lesson is to move from being reactive to being responsive and to find the source of happiness and security within yourself. This emotional intensity, once mastered, grants profound empathy, intuition, and the ability to connect deeply with others. Your soul is guiding you to transform emotional volatility into emotional wisdom. You're here to learn that your internal environment is the source of your true peace. So, here are your assignments to begin calming your emotional waters right now. First, I want to know, tell me in the comments, what is the one calming ritual? It could be a 10-minute meditation, could be a quiet cup of herbal tea, or could be simple deep breathing. Which one will you commit to today to stabilize your mind? And what is the boundary statement you will use to protect that time from emotional interruption? Second, let's turn this knowledge into action. Do one good deed of the day today for someone less fortunate. You channel that difficult emotional energy into selfless seva, also known as service, to purify your emotional nature. If you'd like to connect with us, click on the link in the About section. We can do a deep dive into your own personal chart. And finally, share this video with as many people as you can who are struggling with difficult emotional dynamics, anxiety, or mood swings. The more you share, the more you make your chart better. This message is critical for soul evolution. Knowledge is meant to be shared, and that's what I'm doing for you. Join us next time for the video number 3 in this series, where we will dive into the proud and often arrogant anger, which is caused by an afflicted sun. We'll be discussing the rage that comes from ego, hurt pride, and the need for authority. It's a very different kind of challenge than the emotional moon. So hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss that video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, hit subscribe, and see you guys next time.